Good evening, everybody. This is Akta Sehgal Malhotra at the Kiddomentoring. Kiddomentoring as a concept is something which I believe is very important because mentoring is something that I feel is more important than teaching children. What you teach may or may not resonate with them, but when you mentor them, not only are you guiding them, but you're coaching them for something which will help them become a better human being, which will help them grow, hone up certain skills which may come handy over the life that they have. We are celebrating Christmas in the entire month of December here at Kid Do Mentoring. And as a first initiative for a Christmas, and this time we don't want to be looking at just a party or a celebration, but we want to hone up certain skills for children. And of course, we do understand that children are not on the social media, and that's not something that we are encouraging here. But we would like, through the parents, for children to get exposed to certain new skills that they can either harness or learn them so that they are able to do something different than what they are doing. As a child, I always wanted to write, but I was never given a medium or a platform to hone up that skill until I turned 40. So I had to wait all these years to really, kind of build up my skill or someone guide me through the editing, through the understanding of the entire process. And I'm still learning. And of course, as they say, that there is no age when you cannot learn. So today with us, we have a very special guest, Rezina Denis, who is a coach, an NLP practitioner, a parent herself, a mother to a 6 year old child who has written her own books with the guidance from Rezina. Now, how does Rezina help her daughter or many other children and grown ups to write their book to become budding authors in 90 days? Is what Rezina is going to talk to us in some time. But to give a little bit of a background about Rezina, like I said, that she's a certified coach, an NLP practitioner, has been a banker, has been helping children and grown-ups by coaching them. She's a parent coach, and there is so much more to her that if I continue to talk about her, I'm sure the entire session is going to go talking about all that she does. So a very warm welcome, Rezina, to the Kiddo mentoring platform. And like I said, that I wish I had a coach who could help me write a book. And I am very, curious and inquisitive to know more about that program, that how you can become a budding author in 90 days. So all, over to you for you to share about the program. How do you help them? And how do parents need to really identify that the child has a flair to writing? So over to you, Rezina.
Thank you so much, Ekta. It's my privilege to be here, and I want to say one thing that what you're doing here, through kiddo mentoring is commendable. I think our future generations are going to be blessed if we have more and more people like you. So, Ekta, I want to say that to begin with, and I'm in love with people who spend their time and energy and effort to upbring children. That's such an amazing blessing and a task which everybody should do. So with that, I think Ekta has already given my introduction, so I'm not going to again reintroduce myself. But I want to say one thing: whatever I am, first and foremost, I am a full-time mother, and I am proud of it. I just want to say that because I am a full-time mother. That is why I've been able to do so many things in my life which I was not able to do when I was actually in my corporate career. Motherhood, being a full-time mother really gives you so much of advantage, and it helps you to really really grow yourself. Yeah. So on that
Exactly.
note, yes, so on that note, I will share with everyone about the budding authors program. First, let me share a small story as how it started, and today where we are. So actually it all started with a little dream which I had as a child. As a child, I wanted to write books. I was clear I wanted to be an author. But as Ekta said, even I as a child did not get that platform when I was a child. And I actually became an author at the age of 40. Yeah. So that is a thought which triggered me a lot. And I said that, wow, being an author is such a wonderful, wonderful thing. It transforms you as a person, right? It changes your personality, your thinking horizon just changes and transforms. And that's when my little one, who is 11 years old, came in, and we discussed a book idea, and she said, Mama, even I want to write a book. And she was my inspiration. That's how we started. And she was my inspiration, and we started our journey from there. And today I am coaching many, many, many children across the globe, not only from India, but children across the globe who want to write their first book and become budding authors. So this is how the journey started, Ekta.
Wonderful. That feeling of having a book to your name, to read, that you are the author. I think that feeling is beyond explanation because, having an anthology to my credit, where my
Right.
poetries got published, the high that it gives you is phenomenal. I'm not just writing a book. Even if you just write an article or a blog, and when it gets published on multiple platforms, that gives you the you're on cloud nine altogether. And from a children's perspective, as you shared, small children, they cannot write, right, because they are still building up their vocabulary, but they can do drawing, they can do painting. And the thought behind having you take a session on this was that when this concept of creating your own book was introduced to my daughter by her school, where they were made to be the illustrator. They were explained that who is an author, who's an illustrator, and all about a book. And then when that pictorial book was then spelled out by my daughter, and basis that we did something else, where again she imagined the picture, told me, okay, I want this. So I helped her with cutouts and everything. And then she narrated a story to me. So that's when I realized that a child has such vast imagination and creativity. So if they have a platform, or if they have a curriculum, if I may call it a curriculum, where they can hone up their skills, how amazing it would be, to give them wings to fly and just imagine. I remember my niece when she was, I think, about 3.5, 4 years old. There was a conversation between her and her friend that, I saw corals and this, that in a swimming pool. I mean, it was totally wild imagination. But so how does it get built? How do you become an author in 90 days, Rezina?
Sure. I'll share the details with you. I'm going to show you something very quickly. Okay. Can you just imagine what would be the age group of this child who has written this book? Can you just imagine?
Maybe
Just have a look
10,
at it.
10, 8 or 10.
Yes, yes. It's
Wow.
slightly lower than that. Can you imagine? See the imagination? So why I showed you this is now to explain everyone how this budding author program works. So the budding author program starts from the age group of 5 onwards. Okay. In the 5 to 8 category, it's about picture books, because in the 5 to 8 category, children cannot go beyond 3 to 5 words at a time. Yeah. So when the program starts for the 5 to 8 age group, it is all about picture books, and 8 and above, it's actually about a story writing, or a story, or a poetry, or whatever they want to write. Some children want to write comic books as well. Yeah. So 8 onwards
Wonderful.
is yes, 8 onwards is actually writing a complete book. So I think Ekta is some network issue, Ekta, at your end.
I think I'm back again.
Yes,
Please go ahead.
awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So how the program works is that first let me tell this to everyone. Okay. Every child has an imagination to create stories. I'm sure every parent who is watching me will agree that every child is a storyteller. Yeah. You ask them something and they have something to share or talk about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the base, that's the foundation. Now, Of course, they need mentorship, they need guiding to kind of write it into words. Yeah, that's what the budding author program does. The first step is we spend time with the child in understanding what are the interest areas of the child in terms of what does the child want to write about, what is the child's imagination. Because budding authors program is all about creating original stories, absolutely original stories. So there is an ideation or quick brainstorming session which is done with the child on a one-on-one basis, where we do a brainstorm and understand what does the child want to write and whether the child is really interested in writing or not. Yeah, so that's like a small evaluation, which we do. And the evaluation is not only for the child, the evaluation is also for me, because the child needs to be also comfortable with me as a coach for him or her, right? So we both kind of understand each other, and then we start from there. Now let me tell you, out of so many children I have coached, okay, all of them want to write. So there is nobody who's gone back saying that, okay, listen, I don't want to write. I want to write a book. Yeah. The thought is 100% acceptable to every child so far I have experienced, because they believe that their thoughts can be created into pictures, can be written by people, can be read by so many people in the world. Their book can be in a library, in a bookstore, on Amazon. These ideas kind of builds in so much of happiness inside them. So that's what my experience has been, and I'm really glad that 100% of our children who join the program have been successfully publishing and writing their book. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. So that's how it first starts. And after that, when we decide that what we want to write, as a one on one mentoring program or as a group mentoring program, we start the writing process. But we don't really start the writing process. Before that, we teach the children all about the writing techniques. Everything about grammar, about punctuations, about what is a plot, what is a character, what's the cover page of the book, what are illustrations all about, what's the blurb of a book. So, as an author, if you ask my children, they will know everything about the book. Like, what's the cover page? What's the blurb? What is about the author section? Why isn't about the author section important? What is a dedication? What is an acknowledgement? What's the plot of a story, right? Which voice the story needs to be, the first voice, the second voice, the third voice. So we teach the children all these concepts, but in a very fun and in a very simple, easy way. And it is mostly done through a storytelling method. you know that's that's
Wonderful.
that's how it starts. And once we have done this, we move on to a very important aspect of the program, which is creating a belief system in the child. Yeah. So it's a very very amazing session where we create vision boards of the book, where a child creates a vision board that how he or she wants the book to look like, and by what date the child would want to finish the book. It's not like a timeline which we agree to, but still children just get excited to the idea that I'm going to finish my book in the next 90 days, and they keep that in mind and they work accordingly with full commitment and effort towards it. So we work on creating belief system, we work on creating a vision board, and we teach them some affirmation techniques to bring in a lot of positivity inside them, because when you're writing, your thoughts, your emotions need to also work along. Yeah. So we start with this, and before every session the affirmations and the belief system is repeated and repeated, so that the child actually kinds of gets into it completely and enjoys the entire writing process. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is how it begins, Ekta. and then
Wonderful. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, please.
and then after which we start writing the book, and the book is written along with me during the session. Yeah. So the children, we conduct virtual sessions which is of approximately 45 minutes to 60 minutes on a weekly basis. There is a group mentoring program, and there is a one-on-one mentoring program. Depending upon whatever it is, the child actually writes along with me. The way I'm talking to you, we actually discuss the book, the child writes along with me, and we make sure that chapter by chapter, pages by pages, we finish the book. And I handle the child until and unless the book is completely finished and published, and he or she receives the book in their own hand. So this is how the budding author program completely works.
Wonderful. So, by just doing one activity of helping them write their book, there is so much learning that is happening, like you are, grammar is one thing where a lot of us, even today, even when you grow up, you always get confused in those commonly used words, and the grammatical mistakes still happen. And if somebody is writing a book and is repeatedly the affirmations, the corrections that are happening, so much value addition will be happening over there. And along with that, I think your horizon is going to get so broadened that you will actually start thinking that, okay, I have written one book, now what do I write next on?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and not only will you be thinking on the topic, but you would also want to probably do some research, some understanding, or even to let your imagination go completely crazy or wild, or humorous. You really need to build that up. So some are born with this talent, and some can actually hone up this skill.
Absolutely. Totally. I would want to mention here. So, you actually spoke about the right things. And when a child is writing the book, there is so much of transformation happening, in the child. First, let me tell you, all the children who are writing books with me, they have decided their careers right away. you know they are like, okay, when we grow up, we are going to study, definitely we are going to do really very well, but we know that we are going to be writing all our lives, because they love writing as a complete process. So they want to be authors for life, and they don't stop at one book. You're absolutely right. While they are writing the first book, they want to even discuss the second and the third book. That's the kind of excitement and the engagement which they are when they are into this writing process. That's one. Let me give you a couple of examples in terms of the benefits which children receive through this entire program. Writing is one aspect, becoming an author is definitely one aspect. But my whole idea of doing this was that I saw that my daughter transformed in this entire process. She became a very happy child. Yeah, she was very focused in her studies. Her handwriting improved, and there were so many good benefits. I realized that as a child, that she was growing into confident, matured, able to handle emotions, and all of that. And the children whom I am coaching today and who have already been coached, we have seen benefits like there were children who were so digitally addicted prior to this. But today they are spending time reading. They just want to read. They want to ideate about their next book. What should I write? What should I do? So that's the first thing which you will see as a change in your child. And today I know parents are troubled, with the digital addiction, which is causing a great deal of problem with children. So that's the first thing which you will see that their thoughts and their emotions are coming in control, because when they write and when they become an author, we also teach them about being responsible, being taking the ownership. So you will see that as a child, the child automatically transformed into a very very responsible child. Discipline comes in. These are those softer aspects or the skill set that the child is so slowly transforming into. And it's a beautiful journey. Parents actually, they are happy about the book, but they are also happy about way the children are transforming in this entire process.
I'm
So that's
sure. I think that would be the bigger benefit, right? Where the child completely transforms, and book, I think, is the added benefit and the advantage, the accolade that a child will receive at such a young age. And it's very very commendable, to know that such programs are there, and more so in our country, because most often than not, you hear about these very unique and different concepts in the western part of the world, but when it comes to our country, there are very few. So, Rezina, one is about the program, where I'd like you to spend a little more time, talking a little more detail about that. But my question to you is that, anything new that is introduced, there is always a resistance, right? And most often than not, as a parent, you might not even know that your child has a flair to writing. That is one. Second could be the child, doesn't have the flair, but doesn't even know that he or she can explore this as an option.
yes.
So, as I understand that these children are obviously not the decision makers here. So, when you speak to the parents, or, how do you approach the parents for them to kind of understand the importance of them enrolling their kids for a program like this? And what are
Sure.
the challenges that they, put forward? Like, what are the resistance that comes in play here?
True. So the first thing the parent comes to me with is that, we don't know whether our child would want to write so much, because writing is a task. That's the first challenge which children, parents come up with. Second is definitely they don't know whether the child would really want to or don't want to. Yeah. So I will just tell you how we address this. Okay. Parents who are confident that their children is an avid reader and probably has written some article or some small poems in school, etc., they come to me, they discuss it, and they say that we know that our child is very interested towards writing and reading, and we would want to explore the program. So what we do is, in that situation, I have a call with the child and we explore. We do a brainstorming session where we discuss, and I explain the child the entire book writing process. So before a child is enrolled, every child knows how the book writing process is going to work and what is the effort required, what's the time needs to be put in. Yeah. So the child understands it, the parent understands it, and that's when we move forward. That's one example. The second scenario is where the child is not aware whether he or she wants to write. Even the parent is not aware whether the child would want to write at all. Right? In this situation, also, I encourage the parents to let me speak to the child once and do a brainstorming discussion or a session with them. So I have children who are 11, 12 years old, but they don't like to write, but they are very fascinated with creating a picture book or a comic book. So children who don't want to really write so much, they are interested in going all out there and talking their story or letting their story know to the world, but in form of a picture book. So these are the various combinations which we work with, and we make sure that we do something which the child really wants to do. We never push the child to take up the program and go ahead with it. Until unless I am not convinced that the child really wants to do it, we don't go ahead with the enrollment. And we do it in a very very child friendly way, where we talk to the child, we ask certain questions, we read stories, we actually help create writing a short story then and there. So I also get to know whether the child will be really moving ahead or not on this. So it's about this is how we actually get to a conclusion whether it's going to be a yes or whether it's going to be a no for the child. But
Wonderful.
luckily I've been blessed. I think that every child who comes to me for this brainstorming session has not left back without saying that, okay, I don't want to do this, I want to do this, and I would want to do something different though. So that's how it's working so far, Ekta.
Just to take this conversation a little ahead, uh, like you said, that every child has eventually shown that interest to whether to do a pictorial book or to write. What is that one thing that attracts them to it?
The one thing that attracts them to it, honestly, is that, can I write my story? That's something which really, that thought really excites them, because they have so many stories, Ekta, in their mind. Okay, the fact that you make them aware that, listen, you can actually have this kind of a book in your name where there will be your story in it. The child, that idea of writing my own story and letting the world know about it, is what fascinates the child. Nothing else. That I'm going to become famous and all, that is not what excites the child. Mary's story, my story is going to be there in my book and I'm going to have it in my hand, is the excitement which they have. And some children, the next excitement level for them is they are going to create their own cover page, they are going to create their own illustrations in the book, and their book will be completely made and designed by them, is a second thought which really excites them. Because children love to draw, right? Some children love to
Yes.
draw, some children love to color. That also excites them. And all my books which we publish along with the children, we make the children draw the illustration. We help them to be creative and draw the illustrations, and we exactly put that in, as a cover page of the book, so that the child remembers forever that this is my effort and this is what I created. So we make them create it completely from their mind and heart and soul.
Wow, wonderful. So imagine parents that, your child at the age of maybe whatever, 5, 8, or 10 is able to create a book of his or her own, and is completely owning it, and along with that book, as, Rezina explained us, that there are so many other benefits that come along with it. Your grammar is improving, your horizon is expanding, your imagination, your creativity, and that sense of responsibility and the discipline that, look, I need to complete my book in this period of time, with no undue pressure on them. And it's like a win-win situation for everybody. So, Regina, are there any more such programs that are run in India? Because it's only after I spoke to you did I come to know that something like this exists. So, pardon my ignorance on this, but are there more programs like this that run in India?
So, Ekta, there are a lot of companies today who are helping people publish their books. Okay, but an exclusive mentoring, hand-holding program like what I do is something very unique today. Yeah, because there are companies who will want you to submit the script. They will review the script, and post it they will decide whether it can be published or it cannot be published, right?
Right.
However, the pre part of it, which is completely creating the book, mentoring the child, is something really very unique, which probably I am doing today. I'm sure there will be many available. I also may not have complete idea about it, but my program is very unique because I am working on mentoring the child end to end, right from the idea creation till the time the child holds the book in his her hand. So we take care of the publishing aspect, we take care of the writing aspect, the editing aspect, everything. A complete solution so that the parents have to only sit back and relax and watch the book getting published.
And see the child evolve.
Absolutely. Oh, that happiness is I can tell you, what parents feel once they actually see books, their
That
children's
was
work.
exactly my next question to you. That when your daughter's first book got published, and I believe very soon another one of hers is soon to
Yes.
be launched yet.
Yes.
So, as a one, of course, as a coach, what your reaction to that is, and as a parent, you know, um, how did you recognize, or what were those cues that you got from your daughter that she's interested in, in terms of writing or creating something?
Right. So, well, in terms of the cues, firstly, the cues came in very, very early in her earlier age. She has been an avid reader. She reads everything, anything which can come, in front of her eyes. So she's been an avid reader. She has read approximately 100 plus books so far. So that has
Wow.
been the journey. So as a parent, I instilled this from a very young age. From the age of 3, she started reading, and I realized that she's really liking it. And this happened in terms of this when we were actually sitting and discussing about story. That's when she told me, Mama, I want to also write a story. I think I can write something. So she wrote a story, in a normal book, and I flipped through it, and I was like, wow, this is her imagination, and that imagination was so wonderful. I was like, this needs wings, this needs to be told to everyone. And that's when we got into the process where we actually worked on the entire book together, and then we published it together. So the cue was that she came up to me and told me that I would like to, I like stories, and her avid reading gave me a lot of inputs and perspectives, in deciding whether we should or we shouldn't. So that's how the journey started. And most of our children whom we coach, this discovery is very some parents say that we were sitting and having food one day, and my child came up to me that, Mama, can I write a book? Can my name come on my book? Or can my picture come on a book? These are the thoughts which children come up with. But today, when I'm offering this program, parents are, getting a lot aware about something like this. And most of the parents who are calling me, they want to inquire about whether this is really possible. And when they get to know that this is possible, they want their children to explore this and, make something, create their own book out of it. So this is how, Ekta, the cues are, and parents can pick it up from there.
Amazing, amazing. So, while I understand that we are in a kind of a, like a work from home or do everything from home these days. So, besides the online sessions that you take, which I guess would be, there irrespective whether we are in the work from home mode or otherwise, because, where you are based, how do you, deal with children who are outside that location? So, so how can someone reach out to you and, explore more about this program of being a budding author in 90 days?
Sure. So I have a website where inquiries can be coming in. I have a Facebook page which is dedicated to budding authors, and parents can connect me with there. On my handle, I share a lot of tips and information with parents. How they can actually help their children write a book, self help ideas, etc. So I'm available on Instagram. I'm available on Facebook. I have a website where people can connect with me, and I'm very very active on Facebook in terms of sharing a lot of information on this subject, and people can reach out to me from there.
Perfect, wonderful. So I'd also request you that, once we are done with our conversation, if you can share the link to your Facebook page and the website details, so that in case anybody would like to know more about the program that you run, they can get in touch with you. So, while a child starts to, work on the program with you and starts to create what he or she does, has that also helped, as you said, that you also kind of work upon the emotion part of it, right? Especially now in the kind of an environment that we are for the last 8 9 months, where the use of digitization has increased for children also, and children are not being able to go out and meet their friends, so there are a lot of pent up emotions in them also. So
Right.
while they are writing this book or doing this program with you, have you received any feedback from a parent that that by them getting enrolled in a program like this or having to write their own book has actually kind of helped tone down their emotions of maybe anger or frustration, or that fugitiveness that a child would have because he or she cannot do so many things right now?
Yes, yes,
Does that
true.
also, do you get such a feedback also?
Oh, oh, definitely. In fact, during this hard times which we all had, I think children really suffered a lot, in terms of being caged in the house. And emotionally, children were drained. We adults talk enough about it. We had our Zoom sessions to attend, webinars to attend, work to do. But with children, it was very difficult. But trust me, in this program, when, parents enroll their children, they have come up to me and told me that, Rezina, we have seen our children smiling. We have seen our children taking their notepads and drawing and scribbling illustrations of their book, calling up their friends and saying that, listen, I'm designing my cover page. Do you know that? Calling up their relatives, their grandparents, doing a call, a Zoom call with their grandparents, especially to tell them that, listen, I'm writing this book. Do you want to give me some inputs? So all these things have happened. They have opened up, their happiness quotient has increased, they have this really immense proud feeling about it, and they have involved their entire family into this activity. So it's definitely helped. Parents have come and told me that our children are smiling, our children are happy, and they're staying away from TV and gadgets. So that's I think that's half work done for me, when I can make children smile and I can keep them away from gadgets, which is a very very difficult task for all the parents today. So yes, this has been the experience, Ekta. These are the testimonials which I get from my parents for the kind of changes we see in the children. And most importantly, we have seen a lot of parents coming to me and saying that academically their children have improved a lot, because while they write a book, as you also mentioned, that they have to do a lot of research. I make them do a lot of research before they start writing a book. The research is basically, they need to check whether similar stories are written by somebody else or not, because it's all about being original, right? So we make them a lot of research, we make them do a lot of brainstorming. They need to think. Their thinking caps need to be completely open. Thinking caps have to be completely open. So parents have come and told me that they are much aligned towards their studies now. They are doing their homeworks on time. We don't have to tell them that, listen, study, you need to study, you need to do something in life. They are very very clear that I need to study and I need to write, I need to become an author, and I want to write many many more books going forward. Because
Um,
when an author comes to our mind, we have a slight imagination about them, right? That they are disciplined, they are organized, they are intelligent, they are knowledgeable. Children want to adopt those qualities in them, and they try to behave in that particular way. So when I coach them, I emphasize on all these values a lot. And
right.
children And children are like clay, you can mold them. You can mold them the way you can. And if they look up to you as a coach, I think that's the half battle won with children. So I try my best to keep my children happy, engaged, and motivated when we are doing these sessions all the time.
Awesome. That's wonderful. That's so lovely to, know about this program. So, would you, is there anything more that you would like to tell us about this program?
Sure.
Anything?
So what I would, yes, yes, definitely. I want to tell everyone here, okay, I am on a mission to create young children authors. We have very far and few young children authors in our country, and I am on a mission to create young authors. I would encourage every parent to give one attempt, whether with your child, in encouraging them to start writing, because writing transforms. Writing a book is like a legacy which you leave behind. And every parent must give one attempt with their children to make them create reading habits and make them create writing habits. Reading and writing can transform children in a great way. And budding author program is just like one more supporting factor to creating this great habit. So I want to request all children, all parents out there, don't doubt your children. They have thousand and one stories in their mind. Talk to me and we will see how we can explore this and create budding authors, from your children. Because every child has a story, every child can write a story.
Wonderful. That is absolutely amazing. And I think that in itself has a message for all the parents who are, listening to us right now or who would eventually watch this conversation that, don't let your a child's imagination get succumb to the pressures of studying and all the other things that are there. Let that creativity flow, that let that imagination be there, and it'll be amazing and wonderful if that can be given a more constructive shape, because
True.
that will lead to a sense of achievement for each one of them who would want to embark on this journey of being an author or an illustrator. And I can for sure say that when I did that pictorial exercise with my daughter, after they did that book creating, being the
Yes.
illustrator, so now she knows who an illustrator is, who an author is, what is the back cover, front cover, the spine of the book, and and where she needs to look at the trademark, and all those small basic things. And
Right.
thanks to her school at the age of 4, if she knows so much, I'm sure that there will be a lot more that she can know about. And yes, I think that's a very important thing that you mentioned, that if you inculcate the habit of reading, automatically the child's imagination starts to get developed, and then
Absolutely.
they create their own stories of the story that they have read.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
And then not only do they learn from there, but once they create their own stories, it kind of gets imbibed in the system. The value
Right.
that they derive from there, there is so much that they absorb from there. So absolutely wonderful, Rezina. I think that's an amazing thing that you're doing. And for all the parents, do give it a thought. If your child is into reading or has a flair to write, or even if he or she doesn't have a flair to write, but if you think that there is creativity in the child, why not look at an option like this, where they can carve out an identity for themselves, and at the same time, in a very playful manner, they become authors and they hone up so many other skills. So, if you want to give them a good Christmas gift, look at harnessing certain life skills for them this Christmas. Because 2020, in any case, is a year of looking at things in a very different manner. So if we do that, I'm sure there is so much more that we can add value to our children. And that is why I say that mentor and get mentored, because that is the way you can actually um, broaden the child's mind. And
True.
don't just teach them, let them explore, let them understand, expose them to as much as you can in the most fun way, in the most playful manner, so that they don't get burdened. Oh my God, now what? I have to write a book also, or I have to do this also. And then if in the process there is so much to learn, why not? So
Absolutely.
absolutely amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a very, very, very important point which you touched upon, that for our children, I mean, the world is getting tougher. The environment, the everything around us is getting tougher. We need to, very importantly, academics plays a very, very important role in everyone's life. Yes, that's very important. However, it's very important for parents to create life skills in their children. And writing a book, reading a book, or doing something creative only helps children become tougher, stronger, and grow up into accomplished adults. So I think that's very, very important, which every parent should focus on, creating or giving encouragement to their children, coaching them, mentoring them to actually achieve life skills so that when they grow up, they can handle things well in their lives. Because life is going to throw back at you in all possible ways, and our children will grow up and they have to face them. But this is a time where you can actually create a strong emotional awareness in them so that when they grow up, they can handle everything very, very well. So that really, really helps. Creativity really, really helps with that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Regina, for taking out time to share all about the budding author program. And for all the parents, I'm sure you don't want your child to be 40 to become an author if he or she has it in her and would like to create something which they can own. So if you don't want to wait for such a long time, and if you want them to hone up yet another unique life skill, what are you thinking? Get in touch with Resina or leave a comment on Kiddomentoring page and get in touch with Resina to know more about this program. And we will keep bringing out such unique and interesting concepts through Kiddomentoring. Bring children who have very interesting talent and passion in them, and continue to keep give your support to Kiddomentoring. And once again, Rezina, thank you so much for being here, for taking out your time on this Saturday evening, talk about this program. And we look forward to more insights from you, on an ongoing basis at the Kiddo Mentoring page. I think, you are on a mission to create many and more authors in our country. And, Kiddo Mentoring would like to support you in that. So, let's create that, interest, the environment for parents to really feel that, yes, this is a skill that their child can learn, hone up to it, and look at something to have of their own creation. So
Absolutely. Absolutely,
so
Ekta.
do that.
And I just want to leave with one message and one note here. Okay, I mean, what writing and reading can do to your children. I'm just going to show you something, and you won't believe. This is a child's thought. Okay, this is absolutely a child's thought. A
Wow,
child decided to write a gratitude journal. Yeah, this is a gratitude
amazing.
journal. Yeah.
Yes.
So not only children are evolving to write stories, but once they write stories, look at the wonderful thought they have in their mind. One child, I mean, decided to write a gratitude journal. I mean, gratitude as a thought is so difficult for even adults to kind of practice, right? But children, when they come up to you and say that I want to write something about thanking everyone around, I think it's a great value which you have created in children. And that's
How
what reading and writing does.
how old is this child?
11 years old.
Wonderful. At 11, to have the attitude of gratitude is
Yes,
absolutely commendable. And as Rajna rightly said, and I completely agree with you, that gratitude doesn't come so easily. So, the fact that the child is thinking, which means that the child has been exposed to an environment,
yes,
where the child has understood the importance of extending gratitude for all that he or she has. You know, the word thank you is not just one magic word to say because we were taught these magic words in our growing up here, so they say thank you. But the child
yes,
actually means it. And to have a gratitude journal at the age of 11 is really hats off to the child, and a big salute to the parents who have inculcated these strong values in the child. And thank you so much for sharing this, Regina. I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of parents, because these are certain things, I think, which are far more important than to spend your time fussing and stressing about those grades, what that a child gets. Yes, I do understand that we all follow the grading system. We've been through that, and our children and the generations to come are going to experience that, because that determines your admissions. But having said that, I think someone who has good grades but do not have the right values, I don't think they go too far. That's in my
True,
own experience, I would say.
true.
And so it has to be a balance. And as a parent,
Balance.
as a mentor, it is very important that we walk the talk with them. We imbibe those values in them. And I think your program is really inculcating good values in children, whoever are getting associated with you. And I'm sure all these parents must be blessing you day in and day out, that what a transformation you have brought to these children.
That's the whole idea, Ekta. That's the whole idea. Our future generations need to, really, really have wings and fly. And that's the whole idea of me doing this program for children.
Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much, Rezina. And, as much as I would like to talk to you more and more on this, but I do understand that somewhere we need to kind of close it. So once again, thank you so much for being here. And, all of us at Kiddo Mentoring really, extend our gratitude to you. And all the very best for that new book launch of your daughter, and for all those children who you are helping. And
Yeah.
like I said, please do keep sharing your inputs, your ideas on Kiddo Mentoring, for parents to get attracted for their children to become authors and illustrators.
Thank you, Ekta, for having me. And thank you so much, everyone. I think it's wonderful to be associated with Kiddo Mentoring. And I once again want to mention that amazing, commendable job. Lot of blessings to Kiddo Mentoring and your team.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care. Be safe. So, we will be back with our Kid Doom Mentoring talk show as early as tomorrow at 5 p.m. with a young boy who's just 6. And I like to call him the Wonder Child. So, what this Wonder Child has to say, we will know about it at tomorrow, 5 p.m. on 13th December, the Sunday. So, take care till then, till we meet again tomorrow at 5 p.m. So, take care, everybody. This is Akta Sehgal Malhotra at the Kid Doom Mentoring Show.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.